So I'm Dr. Walker, and I want to talk a little bit about. I had some questions about getting into grad school, undergrad, PhD programs, whatever. First of all, I want to talk about the differences. You need to know what you want to do, and in order to do that, like somebody could say, I want to be a teacher, right? My first idea when I started was I wanted to be a teacher, right? So you figure out where it is you want to go, right? And you then go to that school and you get their material. You see what kind of teaching degrees they offer, what it entails, right? That is very important because you can't just say, I want to be a teacher, and then you go to this school and they may have special education, teaching degrees. You might want a secondary teaching degree. So it really depends. You have to kind of decide what you want and then where you want to go, and then see if what they offer matches what you want, right? Because if you just choose the school, then you get there and it doesn't match what you want, and then you have to go around and kind of find what you want, right? And it might be agreeable sometimes, and sometimes it might not work out, right? And then you just decide, okay, well, I'm here and I did this and whatever. So it is very important to make sure that you are seeking out the place you want to go, so the school matches what it is you plan to study, what you want your profession to be, what actual degree you want to end up having, right? So you do that for undergraduate school. So let's say you are saying, okay, I want to stay in New York, right? I want to stay home, not live on campus or whatever. So then you say, okay, I want to go to this and this school. You research that school first, because depending on what type of school it is going to impact how you get in. Like if you just say you want to go to a SUNY, right? Or you want to go to a SUNY school, a CUNY school, then they may have certain requirements, minimal, whatever. But if you say, oh, I want to go to, NYU, I want to go to Columbia, those schools have, they are, Columbia is Ivy League, obviously. NYU is a high standard, so they have certain requirements in addition to colossal funding. Like they're very expensive, but they're very difficult to get into as well. So you need to kind of decide, some people have their mind set, right? Some parents have their mindset from when kids are young that I want my child to go to an Ivy League school. Some people have their mindset, I want to go to an Ivy League school. Then you need to prepare as such, right? Because it's very difficult to get into. They're not just regular, colleges and universities. So once that is done, right, then you again contact the school. You go to the school, you get their brochures, and not online. Online is going to tell you something different. You go in face to face. You go to the university. You go to the college. You look around the campus, right? You get the culture of the campus. You make day trips or whatever. You know how they take the kids on trips to go visit the colleges. It's very essential. You go, you get a feel of the community there, of the professors that you're going to be interacting with, that you need to take time and you need to do that. I would not make I wouldn't do 10. Like I tell people, even for my matching program, I'm pretty sure I put in maybe 5, 6 applications. People put in 20. I say you don't have to do that. You really just need to set your mind and going where you want to go, a couple, maybe 4 or 5 schools you visit, and you get the programs, and then you see where you match. You have to match in a couple of ways. You have to match in what they're offering. If it's what you want, you have to match in what they require for you to get in. You have to match in what are their finances and what you need to do, what scholarships they offer, what financial aid they offer. Do they have special funding for females? Do they have special funding for specific ethnicities? Do they have special funding for the LGBTQI something ABCD group, right? So that is very important, right? Those are the things that you need to do up front to get started, right? So again, when you go for your higher degree, so when you go for higher degrees, you're looking for ways, like I said before, you need to go and see what they offer in research. You need to go and see where they are in terms of publishing, right? Articles and things like that they've published, what kind of books and things that they have out that they've published. You need to know that history, so then you know, okay, this is where I want to be. This is where I'm going to get my funding. This is going to benefit me. And then I want to say, lastly, know the difference in degrees, right? So I have a PhD. So I have a PhD in clinical psychology. Some people have a PsyD. That's a PSYD, a PsyD. So the difference in those degrees are that the PsyD is your basic, I don't want to say basic, because people, a PsyD is your clinical degree. The PhD has the extra because it has your research aspect on it. So it is more research, more epidemiology, more statistical. We have that background in addition, a lot more publishing, things of that nature. The difference in a psychiatrist and a psychologist is the psychiatrist's specialty is medicine, right? So they prescribe, right, antipsychotics or mental health medication. They do have a background, of course, obviously in clinical. With psychology, right, clinical psychologists, a PhD, their specialty, our specialty is diagnostics. So what we do is the diagnostical evaluations, right? So a full battery evaluations. And I also have neuropsych background. So that means that we do the testing and the evaluations that lead to what axis the person has, an access 1 or access 2, right? And those are kind of thrown out. That's kind of previous. But what their actual diagnosis is, and neurologically how they are functioning, or where the brain is functioning, that is our specialty, testing, right? So it's good to know where you want to be, okay?